Welcome into the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:21 on this Monday morning, and of course, with the passing of Pope Francis, just coming out of a CBS News special report, joining us in progress, and I'm sure there'll be updates on this throughout the morning. Here's what we've got so far in terms of weather. We do have those cloudy skies out there. You can see from downtown Pittsburgh, and even though it's not as bright in the sky, it is still cloudy on the Joplin side of things as well. MoDOT camera at 20th in range line, and that is where things are going to be. And it has occurred to me that this is not in the right spot, so just bear with me 1 second, and I'm going to make a couple of minor adjustments here. Now we're good to go. All right, we have flood advisories, flood warnings across a good portion of the area. You got to remember, turn around, don't drown. If you know your route to school, to work, to the store, to town, or to your neighbor's house takes you through a flood-prone area, you need to plan now before you head out the door for an alternate route. There is widespread flooding concerns across the region, especially where we have these advisories and warnings out there. So remember, again, turn around, don't drown, don't risk it. Plan that alternate route now, and I'm sure school districts, you're probably already planning some of those alternate routes, because I have no doubt, especially in some of these rural areas, we're going to have bus routes that go through flood-prone areas. So just be safe, be smart, be practical out there when it comes to these flooding concerns across the area. Now, some good news is we're going to be considerably drier today. We're going to have an opportunity to warm up and dry out a bit, but we do have additional thunderstorm chances, which we'll talk about in a moment. Through today, though, skies continue to clear through the morning into the afternoon. Then we are just straight up sunny across the area. Temperatures won't be too bad. Could have a few clouds overnight tonight into early Tuesday morning. Otherwise, we clear out once again. South winds do pick up a bit. They'll start gusting upwards of about 20 miles an hour, which does allow us to do a little more warming as we head into Tuesday afternoon and evening. That'll lead to a fairly mild night Tuesday night into Wednesday, with clouds beginning to increase. You can see we're in the upper 50s as we start our Wednesday. We'll have clouds increasing, going mostly cloudy on Wednesday. And again, the future track, at least at this particular point, is having a bit of a hard time picking up on it, but we do have some scattered shower and thunderstorm chances. Now, there is a severe risk for Wednesday, but it is off to our west and should remain there. But we are entering the peak of severe weather season here in the 4 states, so any thunderstorm chances we certainly want to monitor and keep an eye on, because any of those chances are going to have an opportunity to potentially become severe, depending, of course, on the right environment variables. You know, you got to have everything come together. Upper 40s as we get our morning started. Again, a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies as those clouds begin to clear out, near 60 by 11 a.m. As we head into the afternoon, we are looking at temperatures eventually reaching the low 70s. Again, mostly clear skies out there, and southwest winds at approximately 5 to 10 miles an hour. Into the evening and overnight hours, we'll have mostly clear skies, again with just a few clouds, temperatures falling back into the low to mid 50s, and a south breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Again, tomorrow we're warmer, we're windier. South winds pick up, start gusting upwards of 20. Now, as I've mentioned, you've seen the long-range severe weather outlooks. You know what they look like. We don't have anything on the long-range outlook screaming severe, but we do have thunderstorm chances starting Wednesday and continuing through at least Friday morning. The only severe risk, again, at this point is for what they call day 3, which would be Wednesday, and it's off to our west for right now. Of course, if that changes over the next couple of days, we'll keep you updated. We'll let you know. But just again, that reminder, we're starting to enter the peak of severe weather season, so we've got to be alert to any thunderstorm chances just in case. And of course, Skywatch weather team here will keep you updated on those. You can see the chances, though, relatively low. So what we're looking at are just scattered storms at best at this point. Saturday, a bit cooler, back into the upper 60s. Not bad on Friday either. And then we have those thunderstorm chances returning as we head into the next work week, starting from Sunday, running through Tuesday morning. At this point, again, those chances are low, but they are there, so we certainly want to keep an eye on that. Temperatures bouncing up and down here and there, but not too bad. We'll have some 70s at least through Thursday, upper 60s through Friday and Saturday, back to the 70s and some upper 70s by Sunday and Monday, and then back to the low to mid-70s by next Tuesday, Wednesday. And Wednesday, another opportunity to dry out as well. As I mentioned, though, the flooding concerns, you've got to take it seriously. Turn around, don't drown. Make sure you're planning your alternate route now so you don't have to wait until the last minute and try and figure something out, and by absolutely no means drive through any water. You have no idea how deep it is. You have no idea how fast it's running, and it doesn't take much to sweep a car off the road. So do be cautious out there this morning. That is a check of your forecast. We're going to toss things over to Elise now as a look at Health Watch this morning.
All right, Chris, thanks. Topping Health Watch this morning, cannabis use among kids and teens is higher in areas where the drug has been legalized. A study in Canada published in JAMA found that rates of cannabis edibles use increased among students in grades 7 to 11 in provinces that legalized the drug. Now, at the same time, rates of use dropped in areas that did not legalize cannabis. More patients are becoming comfortable with an AI being a part of their medical care. A study by the Radiological Society of North America found 71% of patients were okay with an AI interpreting their mammograms along with human radiologists. Now, however, less than 5% of people said they were comfortable with an AI alone interpreting their mammogram. And we hear all the time about how what you eat impacts your health, but how about how fast you eat? Well, doctors at the Cleveland Clinic say people who eat a meal in 20 minutes or less may be eating too fast. Now, that's because it takes that long for the stomach to communicate to the brain through hormones that you're full. Now, as a result, fast eaters tend to overeat, and they're also more likely to swallow air, which leads to bloating and indigestion. Well, tips for slowing down the fork include turning off the TV and putting down the phone while having a meal, in addition to chewing longer. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, First Baptist Church of Carthage handed out over 4,600 eggs for families to hunt at home.
And while the rain has stopped, flooding concerns have not. We'll have a look at your forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, Pittsburgh kicked off its first farmers market of the year with a festive Earth Day celebration.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Monday. It's April the 21st. And of course, a lot going on right now with the passing of Pope Francis. Just absolutely incredible. He just had the Easter Mass yesterday and passed away this morning.
Yes.
So a lot going on with that, of course, and CBS News has been bringing us coverage for the morning. As of right now, looks like we're going to be staying right here with the KOAM Morning News as we continue the last half hour of our show here. And we have some weather to talk about. I've got good weather. I've got some good news in that front, but I've also got some concerns we need to address as well. We'll start first, though, with that look outside in downtown Pittsburgh. Still pretty cloudy out there, but do not worry. These clouds will continue to clear across the region as we head through the morning hours. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline also still quite cloudy overhead, looking back to the south. But again, those clouds will begin to clear, and by noon, maybe a lingering cloud or two, and after that, skies become straight up clear. We'll have a south breeze out there. Temperatures will be fairly mild, as you can see, an opportunity to dry out and warm up a little bit as we head into the afternoon hours. But as I mentioned as well, we have those flooding concerns, and that's something that we've got to put some emphasis on. The rain has stopped, yes. The flooding concerns have not. We have a number of flood advisories and flood warnings across the area for streams, creeks, and then we have flood warnings on a county-wide scale for Jasper, Newton, McDonald, Berry, and Lawrence counties in southwest Missouri. So an emphasis here, of course, you know the phrase, turn around, don't drown. If you come across water over a roadway, you have no idea how deep it is. You have no idea what the condition of the roadway is underneath that, if it's been washed away, and you have no idea how fast that water is moving, and it doesn't really take a lot to push a car off the road. Water is a very powerful force. And you don't always realize it. You think, what? It's water. But it is a very powerful force. So remember, turn around, don't drown. If you know your route to work, school, the grocery store, your friend's house, wherever it is you may be heading out to today, takes you through an area that is prone to flooding, now is the time, before you leave, to ensure that you've got an alternate route in place so that you don't get caught up by this flooding. You don't want to have a last-minute change, be late to where you're going, and you certainly do not want to try and push your way through any of those floodwaters out there either. Very dangerous this morning. Temperatures, not bad. We're at 50 in Joplin right now, 49 in Pittsburgh. Get across the area, a pretty typical start. These temperatures pretty close to normal. We've got some cooler temperatures. Yates Center, for example, at 44 degrees this morning, but most of us mid-upper 40s, and you head a little further south and east, we start seeing a few of those low 50s as we get this day started. Looks like Bentonville, the warm spot at 53. Kids getting on the bus this morning. Again, a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies, depending on exactly where you are as these clouds clear out. Upper 40s, west winds, as they are right now, at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. By this afternoon, skies should clear out. Sunny, warmer, upper 60s. Southwest breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour as that bus brings the kids back home. And for the rest of today, again, once we get past these clouds this morning, it is a fantastic day. Unfortunately, for some, it does mean it's at least good weather to start the cleanup and recovery process following damage from those storms yesterday afternoon. And that's twice now. We've had some significant severe weather at odd hours of the day for us. Traditionally here, anything we get's late evening and overnight, but we've had some odd timing on these storms. We do have some additional thunderstorm chances as we head into Wednesday through Friday morning and again next week. Nothing screaming severe at this point, but it is something we want to keep a very close eye on as we head through the next few days. And of course, we'll update you on that in the full forecast, and all that's coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, yesterday's storms didn't stop the First Baptist Church Carthage from giving away Easter eggs. Now, due to the weather, the event, which was planned to be held at Central Park, was changed to giving over 4,600 eggs out to the community so they can do their own DIY Easter egg hunts. Over 150 bags were made to give out to members of the community.
People love getting the bags of eggs for their kids, and there's always a smile on their face. They're always excited, and they appreciate hearing the message of the gospel as well. And so it's generally a really warm reception from our community.
All the eggs were assembled over the past few months from the church's congregation. Well, the weather didn't put a damper on some Easter egg hunting in Fort Scott either. Now, the Fort Scott Recreation Department held its second annual Easter extravaganza after it had to change its venue Friday. Families could participate in egg hunts in 3 age ranges, with 3,000 eggs being given out. Now, they could also get their picture taken with the Easter Bunny, go on an obstacle course, and play mini golf. And the rain hasn't stopped Pittsburgh from hosting its first farmers market of the year and Earth Day celebration. Attendees were able to enjoy music while they did their shopping. They could also learn about sustainable practices like recycling and making their own homemade bird feeders from pine cones, peanut butter, and birdseed. They also had the chance to interact with everyday critters and learn about their roles in the environment. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. We'll see how new U.S. custom regulations are disrupting DHL shipments to U.S. customers. And we have a nice and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from the Franklin Community Park located in Franklin, Kansas. In Consumer Watch this morning, a vast majority of Americans say owning a home remains an integral part of the American dream. But according to a new report, as the benefits to owning a home increase, so do affordability challenges. Ivan Rodriguez breaks down the numbers.
Despite the ups and downs of the economy and interest rates, homeownership is still the dream for many Americans.
82% of Americans say that homeownership is part of the American dream, and it outranks things like being able to retire, having a successful career, or even owning an automobile.
But that dream is confronted by reality for buyers who are struggling to come up with down payments. According to Bankrate's 2025 Home Affordability Survey, more than 80% of American adults who don't own a home but desire to say affordability reasons hold them back.
Home prices have been at record highs in many markets, and we really haven't seen much in the way of pullback, even with a building inventory as homes take longer to sell.
Despite the less than optimistic numbers, 64% of Americans would be willing to make a sacrifice to be able to afford to buy a home.
Some of those things, like moving out of state, moving further from family and friends, further from work, or buying a fixer-upper, they come with costs of their own. And so I think that's part of the equation that could also further hamper that search for affordable housing.
The good news is that mortgage rates, one of the main obstacles to home ownership, have eased a bit in recent months. The average 30-year fixed-rate mortgage remains under 7%, according to Freddie Mac, which also says as more and more people apply to purchase a home, the spring home buying season is looking to be more favorable than last year. In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Well, new U.S. customs regulations are making it harder for one major European shipper to send packages to the U.S. Now, starting today, DHL says it will suspend business-to-consumer shipments to the U.S. that value more than $800. The company says it's due to additional processing required for packages at that dollar threshold. Now, DHL says the move is temporary and that business-to-business shipping will not be impacted. Well, today, Vice President J.D. Vance is kicking off a 4-day visit to India for talks toward a bilateral trade deal. The talks come weeks after President Donald Trump announced his now paused reciprocal tariffs against U.S. trading partners, which included a 26% tax on goods from India. And director Ryan Coogler's vampire flick Sinners slayed the competition in theaters, earning more than $45 million domestically to top the weekend box office. The Minecraft movie is still going strong after dropping to second with $41 million. Animated Christian feature The King of Kings was third with $17 million. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
After a very busy weekend out there with severe weather, we still have flooding concerns this morning, but we will have an opportunity to calm down and dry out. Still cloudy right now. Our camera downtown Pittsburgh and from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline in Joplin. However, clouds are beginning to clear, and they will continue to do so as we push through the morning and into the afternoon hours. We're going to be dry today. We'll have a southwesterly breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Temperatures will be pretty decent out there as well, and skies will remain clear through the afternoon and into the evening hours. Unfortunately, again, we have a number of flood advisories and flood warnings across a good portion of the region. So remember, turn around, don't drown, do not try and drive through any flooded roadways, because as we mentioned, you don't know how deep that water is, you don't know the condition of the road underneath if it's been washed away, and you don't know how fast that water is moving, and it could easily sweep your vehicle around. So if you know your route takes you through a flood-prone area, make sure you've got an alternate route in place for this morning. 50 in Joplin right now, 49 in Pittsburgh, so a fairly average start in terms of our temperatures. Do have some colder spots. Iola, for example, sitting at 42 now, but most of us into the mid to upper 40s and low 50s. Bentonville still sitting as the warm spot at 53. Kids getting on the bus this morning, again, a mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies, upper 40s and the west winds at about 5 to 10, and then they'll switch out of the southwest a little later this morning into the afternoon. Clear skies right around 69 when the bus brings those kids back home. So about time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. We're going to do that here in a moment. Of course, another full look at your forecast as well. But first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Tony DeCopel. Coming up on CBS Mornings, George Clooney, the Hollywood star, talks with us about making his Broadway debut, playing Edward R. Murrow. Yep, the CBS legend in the stage adaptation of Clooney's film Good Night and Good Luck. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
Time for some Monday birthdays in the 4 states, and we're going to start in Joplin with Atticus Gray celebrating birthday number 2. Happy birthday.
And twins Lila Kay and Letty Lou Kellogg are celebrating their 2nd birthday today in Columbus. It says happy birthday from grandparents Lisa and Gary Sandberg and great-grandma Janice.
And over in Humboldt, Hallie Joe Lucas celebrating birthday number 8 today. A very happy birthday to you.
And a happy 9th birthday to Bronson Burks in Girard.
And staying in Kansas, in Parsons, Kendall Young celebrating birthday number 19 today. Happy birthday.
And a happy 34th birthday to Emily Doogie. It says happy birthday from Jason, Caden, Annalie, Allie, and Cody.
And in Baxter Springs, Jason Walker celebrating birthday number 50 today. Happy birthday.
And in Fort Scott, a happy 70th birthday to Gene Hawkins. Says happy birthday from Amanda, Jennifer, Kinley, and Ethan.
And in Jasper, we've got Ken Godfrey celebrating birthday number 78 today. Happy birthday, Ken.
And in Crestline, a happy birthday to Jay Berry.
And then our very own Cale Garner celebrating a birthday today. He does not like big celebrations typically, but he does a lot in terms of keeping the station functional. Anytime I've got a problem, all I have to do is say, Cale, I have a problem. And he just snaps his fingers and it's fixed. I don't know how he does it, but he is absolutely amazing, and a very happy birthday to you, Cale.
Happy birthday, Cale. And continuing our list with a happy 21st birthday to Tyler Natalini in Scammon.
And in Frontenac, Shirley Phillips celebrating a birthday. It's number 39 with happy birthday from your neighbors on Somerset Drive.
And in Parsons, a happy 86th birthday to Dixie Murdoch.
And in Joplin, Jeff and Bev Bieber celebrating their 34th wedding anniversary. A very happy anniversary to the Biebers.
And last but not least, a happy birthday to Joanna Parsons.
All right, a fantastic list of birthdays and anniversaries for this Monday. And if you would like to help this list stay fantastic, Elise has some very simple and straightforward information that you need to know.
Please submit your birthdays and your anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen, and to also please include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
Of course, that is some very important information for sure, and we've got some very important weather information now. After yesterday's storms that left behind damage across the area, we'll have an opportunity to dry out and to start that cleanup and recovery work today, unfortunately, in the wake of those storms. However, the other thing they left behind is all of this green on this map. These are flood warnings and flood advisories across a good portion of southwest Missouri into southeast Kansas, and a lot of river and creek and stream flood warnings as well. So I know I've said it all morning, but it is very important. Turn around, don't drown. If you know your route to wherever you may be going today takes you through a flood-prone area, plan that alternate route before you leave. Do not attempt to drive through the floodwaters. You don't know how deep it is. You don't know the condition of the road underneath because it could be swept away. And you do not know how fast that water is flowing. And it does not take a lot to sweep a car off the road. So again, just be smart, be safe, plan that alternate route. Make sure you've got another way around if you know your typical route is prone to potential flooding out there. As for the rest of today, again, an opportunity to dry out and start the cleanup and recovery process for some across the 4 states after those storms. We'll have sunny skies by this afternoon. Winds eventually shifting out of the southwest at about 5 to 10 miles an hour, so not too bad out there. A few clouds late evening and overnight into very early Tuesday morning, and then the skies clear once again. We're warmer and we're windier. South winds tomorrow start gusting upwards of about 20 miles an hour, so not too over the top, but still a bit on the breezy side. But those temperatures also warming, going into the upper 70s for just about all of us, and even a couple of 80-degree readings in our southern counties, not out of the question. By Tuesday night into Wednesday, though, clouds begin to increase a bit. We'll start to go mostly cloudy for our Wednesday, and then we'll start to see some opportunities for some showers and thunderstorms again. Now, the severe threat for Wednesday, because there is one, unfortunately, for us, thankfully, though, it is to our west. Of course, if that changes, it gets pretty close. It reaches as far east as Wichita, so we want to keep a close eye on it. And also, the future track is having a hard time with these storm chances on top of all of that as well. It's not really picking them up too great, except for our very far western counties, but we still want to monitor that. We're entering the height of severe weather season here in the 4 states, so really any thunderstorm chances we have, we want to keep an eye on just in case. But the good news is at this point, nothing on the long range severe weather outlook screaming severe, which is good news, but of course, if any of that changes, we will certainly let you know. If you look back there above the tree line, you see a little bit of daylight. That is because, again, from west to east, these clouds are progressively beginning to clear, and they will continue to do so through the morning. Upper 40s to start, and near 60 by 11 o'clock this morning. We're having another look at your forecast, plus the news you need to know here in just a moment, and we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., or if you stay here with us on KOAM+, we're going to see a theater in Maine that's using the power of music to help heal others.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The Vatican confirms Pope Francis has passed away this morning. The 88-year-old pontiff died following a series of health challenges in recent years. Throughout his clerical career, he was known for his humility and advocated heavily for immigrants, refugees, and the poor. Yesterday afternoon, storms left a path of debris and many people without power. Carl Junction residents are left dealing with large branches and uprooted trees all over town. Crews blocked the road to ensure the public safety. Carl Junction schools will not be in session today, so crews can continue to work on cleaning up the town. In Lamar, Missouri and the surrounding Barton County area have also experienced some heavy damage following yesterday's storms. Multiple large trees and power lines were down. Lamar City Administrator Rusty Ride says that many people may not see power restored until later today. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
As you head out the door, again, flooding concerns across a good portion of the area. So remember, turn around, don't drown. If your route takes you through a flood-prone area, make sure you've got an alternate route planned for today. We'll have an opportunity at least to start the cleanup and recovery process and the dry out. Sunny skies by this afternoon, low 70s and southwest winds around 5 to 10 miles an hour. A few clouds start building in late evening and overnight with mostly clear skies back into the low to mid 50s. South winds at about 5 to 10. Winds tomorrow pick up out of the south, gusting upwards of 20. Sunny skies and near 80. Thunderstorm chances begin to build back in as we go into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday morning. We'll get another break from the rain Saturday and more storm chances as we head into the next week.
All right, Chris, thanks. And coming up today at noon, we're making a perfect egg salad in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Coming up next, more on the breaking news that Pope Francis has passed away at the age of 88, including a live report from the Vatican with reaction, plus a look back at the pontiff's impact on the Catholic Church.
Or as we continue on with Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Kay Lewis joins us in the studio to talk about the Midwest Regional Ballet.
Plus, Cheryl Hansen and Elizabeth Sandel also join us in the studio to talk about the Carl Junction Cultivators Garden annual garden sale. However, that's going to again wrap it up for us for this morning.
Yes.
Of course, more coverage on the passing of Pope Francis coming up on CBS Mornings, and we will be back here bright and early tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.